Back to the curve. We are so glad you guys are joining us. Thank you so much for joining. It's your girl Shannon Deneen, of course, and I am around the table with my lovely co-hosts.
And I am Missy. I'm sorry. Every week, same thing.
Tony G. Campbell.
And tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me at Tony with an I, the letter G, Campbell on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And follow me on Fridays live on the Curve.
Yes.
And you can find me at MissyW1913. Same hashtag for Cash App. Just put a $sign in front of it.
Yes. I love it.
Oh.
And of course, you can find.
But the crust has so much brown sugar and cinnamon in it. It is absolutely amazing.
Listen.
And that's actually homemade brown sugar that my husband made because he learned how to make it.
Who's out here in these streets making sugar? Where they do that at?
Listen.
Well, because you just take molasses and regular
What'd I
sugar.
tell you?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's just making the brown sugar. It's molasses, and then you put molasses and regular sugar, and that is what makes brown
Somebody
sugar.
is telling too much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so y'all remember last week when we had our moment in sisterhood when Melissa came around here telling everybody, oh, you ought to give folks your recipes and this, that, and the third.
She don't want me to give mine,
So I said before we got on live, while we were waiting for the technical difficulties to be over, I said, hey, why don't we share the recipe with the people? She said, we're not sharing all of this deliciousness because I got to use this. This is for me.
Listen, Google it.
You can. It's a pecan. No.
Google. I'm gonna do them like your mama did you. Google cheesecake.
Not Google cheesecake.
Homemade cheesecake from scratch. Google it. No, tell them the site. Go ahead, tell them.
It's pecan pie cheesecake, and you can find it on delish.com.
And it is indeed delish. So, before we get started, we are going to take a very, very quick commercial break so that I can finish off this cheesecake. We're going to be right back with some more of the curve where we're going to get right into Word on the Street, y'all. We'll be right back. They caught me with a mouthful of food, but welcome back. Welcome back to the Kurve. And so you guys, we are about to get into it. We got some wonderful topics to talk about tonight. And so let's jump right into Word on the Street. Okay, guys, so last week, you ready?
Because I'm ready for this.
You ready for it?
We
ready?
introduced it a little bit last week,
We
but
did.
let's go.
Yeah.
So y'all remember last week we were talking about Valentine's Day, and we were like, ooh, side chick conversation, and me and Stoney and Melissa and Tony and Felipe, we had some differences of opinions, and we were like, oh, the side chick show needs to be a whole separate show. Boom, here we are. Because Side Chick Appreciation Day just passed. Did you give me the side eye? Side Chick Appreciation Day just passed, a.k.a. February 15th. And listen, Side Chick Appreciation Day baskets were all over the place. Side chick parties were happening. Side chicks this year have been more celebrated, I think, than actual love with actual wives. Because I saw side chick stuff everywhere.
I didn't.
You didn't?
Go ahead, though.
I didn't either. Until you sent me the information.
All I saw was 50% off stuff. So if that counts for side
It
chicks,
does.
all right.
Listen, the side chicks are getting the leftover Valentine's Day stuff, and that's the thing that's happening. However, we are what prompted me to even think about this was, y'all know the All-Star game was this weekend. I'm a huge sports fan. The All-Star game was this weekend.
Honey, they was out.
Listen, if all the girls that was trying to hook a baller were in Charlotte this past weekend. And the thing that blew my mind that I was not aware of is that there is a show in Charlotte called The Real Side Chicks of Charlotte.
That's what I mean about the disrespectful ones. Them right there. You celebrating being the side chick. No.
Let me hold on. Let me take it a little further. Not only were the side chicks of Charlotte out in full force, but they threw a whole party.
I saw the flyer.
There was a flyer. There was a party that happened during All-Star Weekend, and let me tell y'all, word on the streets is that party was lit. That everybody was there. That it was well attended.
Because it was full of hoes.
It might.
But here's the thing, though.
It might have been.
Okay? So they were on the Breakfast Club, and when I tell you, Charlamagne and Envy both wore them out. Like,
I didn't see it.
It was horrible.
Really?
Because they were actually trying to launch the show.
Yeah.
They were trying to launch the show. So, like, in the pilot season, that's when they were on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And it was just a bad situation. Like, it just did not look good. And he was saying,
not a good look.
How are you glorifying being a hoe and how are you breaking up homes, whoop-de-woo. And the girl was basically like, I'm not breaking up a home. The home evidently was already broken when he came to me.
Which is the point you and Stoney were making last week. The point that y'all were making was you cannot break up a home. You cannot, as a woman, you cannot come in and break up a home that ain't already broken.
Listen. And I am not supporting infidelity. But one, okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about all of this.
Let's
talk about what defines being in a relationship. Okay, because if we've discussed being in a monogamous relationship, because most people will say you're single until you get married. So if you have
you're married until you get divorced.
Right. So if you all have not discussed the rules of engagement, you could have some problems. Now, I didn't really understand how big side chick culture was until I moved to Atlanta. Because, see, my neighbor, I ain't going to tell you no lies. My neighbor and his side chick both got shot on my street. Like, the wife came home from work. Yes, she is at Jackson Prison in Michigan. In Jackson, Michigan, she's in prison.
Because that would be my house.
She killed him. You know what I mean? Like, He was old, but she shot both of them. Like, real talk.
Because they was in her house, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And the other neighbor is the one that called and told on them. This was all on little bitty street that I grew up on. But
that's what happens when you stick together. I'm just saying.
I was in the beauty salon one day, was going in Snellville, and this lady was talking, and she was talking about this furniture that just got moved, and she didn't want the man staying in the house. So I was like, why? Like, he purchased the furniture. Doesn't he live there? Isn't your husband? She was like, that ain't my husband. Excuse me? She was like, listen, I let his wife have all of those issues and those problems. Like, he does what he does. He comes over, I cook, she's super busy. You know, there's a hot meal at my house all the time. You know, she said, do you see that truck? She said that I have a truck just like yours. I'm getting ready to get another one upgraded. He paid cash for it. Every piece of furniture in my house he bought. Co-signed for my house. And I was like, wait a minute. And she said at the end of the day, like, it was all broken. She said, I'm sure his wife knows about me, but I tell him all the time, go home. Like, you don't have to be here. And it blew my mind. Literally.
So I will say that every side chick that I've ever spoken to says that the relationship is a matter of convenience. It's a matter of, he gives me what I need, I give him what he needs, and then he goes on about his business and he don't bother me. Like, he doesn't, there's not this jealous relationship. Like, he takes me out, we go do stuff, and then he goes on about his business, and I don't have to deal with cleaning up after him, picking up after him, worrying about his money, if he's sharing it with me, what he's doing. Like, I don't have to worry about none of the stuff that a wife has to worry about. And I get all the perks that being with somebody gives. And the only drawback is we can't be together on holidays.
But that's my issue with the whole situation. It's like, why can't you do that with a single man? Why you have to do that? Why you have to be a career hoe in this relationship with this man who is married?
So there's no accountability on the man?
No, he's doing complete wrong. But my thing is that you know he's married. It's like, why can't you find you a single person who will do all these things for you?
Because a single person ain't doing all those things.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. So because a single man is not putting as much effort, it's because there's no chase there. Like, there's no drama, there's no draw, and there's no chase for a single man to be trying to get at a single woman. Like, this married man is still trying to see if he got it, or like, trying to fulfill something that he's not getting, because he could be getting the 80% at home from his wife. He's getting 80% of the good stuff, but he's also getting 80% of the bad stuff. And then he's out with this other girl getting the 20% from her, the fun and the happiness and the sex all the time and all that stuff. And then he feels all complete and whole, so he's spending his money, impressing her.
He's spending our money.
He is spending our money. Yeah. He's absolutely spending our money.
And that's another issue. You're not going to spend my money on no other woman. I'm sorry. And yes, ladies,
I agree with you.
Everybody, yes, I am home with my children every day. I don't get a paycheck, but that's still our money coming all up in that household. And you will not spend that on no other woman. And my other issue is, when did these side chicks become so bold? Like, you used to be ashamed to be the other woman. You used to be hiding in the corner.
That's
like,
when we had morals and values. But since social media...
Like, why you gotta celebrate your wholeness? I don't understand that. Why we gotta be so bold with it?
Social media and rap, girl.
Yeah.
Like
the culture. I mean, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but I think the point that definitely has to be made is there has to be accountability on that man.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day,
he will get shot.
At the end of the day, they can. I'm telling you, it happened with my neighbor. At the end of the day, it isn't. It takes two people to do all of this, And you look at the basketball player that was killed in Tennessee, one of the Tennessee Titans. a couple years ago, you know, because he was trying to break it off, because you have some of these people that they've been doing this for so long. Like, he had a whole family over here with a child and all this other stuff, and this woman, he was trying to break it off and she killed him. So you have to think about all of these people. I mean, what's the little nasty little girl's name? She made a whole book video and was teaching them how to be the
Superhead.
Corinne.
Corinne
You know,
Stephens,
she dialogue. That was one of the reasons why Shaquille O'Neal got a divorce, because she dialogue. I mean, she wrote verbatim what happened when they were intimate, how it looked. Now, only his wife would know that. You know, the details about the home and what's the other little girl with Gabrielle Union, the one that had the baby.
Oh,
okay. With Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, the other mama that he had the child with.
Oh, you know what? I don't remember.
She detailed how their house looked. So where's the accountability?
There was another baby that happened.
Yeah, there's another baby.
No, I mean, the man is dead wrong. Like, he should not be out there looking. His thing should be in his pants. And, you know, if he would do that, then there would be no issue. There would be no side chick. But I'm like, but there is this whole thing about, there are some women who literally will only date married women. So they even go after married men. Sorry.
Married women too.
That's what they might be dating married women too. But it's like some of them just go after them, and it's like, you know.
But see, my thought process is it really? I don't know if it is the woman going after the man.
I don't think it's the women.
I think
going
that
after
it is the. I think that it is more
men going after the women
who are. I feel like it's more married men who are going after these women and then later telling them, oh, I'm married.
Right.
And then I don't.
But no, there are some women that says, I only date married men.
Because I think that's true. But however, there's an audience for that. Yeah. There's a demographic that's saying, hey, I'll entertain the two. Yeah. You know, it isn't that they're chasing him. He's saying, I'm open to it. One of I was talking to someone the other day, and we were having a conversation, and they were like, yeah, you know, so-and-so, it just, some stuff came back, and I was like, how do you know this individual? And both of them got really quiet. And the thing about it is, you never know what people present one thing.
Absolutely.
But it was exposed that, this person said that maybe they wanted to be in a relationship with my wife and myself.
Oh, I've been approached like that before.
And so
I said
but
no.
That's part of that culture. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I was shocked, but I wasn't judging them, because that's just so part of our culture now.
It is.
That, you know, people are doing those types of things, and it's not where you got Ernestine from down the street chasing your man. No, you got people that's just welcoming her into the house, inviting her in.
Yeah, they shouldn't do
and
that
that's part.
You gotta
who
be
talked
ready for
about that? Shamari DeVoe and Ron DeVoe when they were on the Breakfast Club.
Well, they talked about it on the Real Housewives of Atlanta too, like how their whole, how, you know, they had an open relationship at one point in time, and then after the open relationship, she kind of fell in love with the other chick that they had the open relationship with.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And then Ronnie was kind of like, whoa, wait a minute, this is going too far.
See, I'm thinking open relationship. She see men, he see women, but no, I guess they made it a threesome. And
he was seeing
another woman, and she was seeing another woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, exactly. So.
But they both said that it really impacted the marriage, and if they had to do it all over again on the Breakfast Club, that they would not. They would not, because it took so much to rebuild the trust back.
Yes. My question is, if you need an open marriage, why get married in the first place? Why don't you just stay dating or,
Because I
seeing
think
each
what
other,
happened,
whatever?
I think what happened with them though is that they got married and they were really young.
She was
so they
super young.
Yeah, they got married. They were married, and then after a while, after them, because they've been married like 22 years.
She
or something
was like
that.
19, 20 when they got married.
And
young.
then she like, you know what? I'm interested in women.
Right,
How about
and
you?
Like,
You know?
yeah, there was a thing, and so I think after that point in time, that's when he was like, okay, well, in order to keep my marriage, let me figure out how to make this kind of work and this angle to kind of get together, and I think that's what happened. Which I have met a couple of swingers. And people in the lifestyle, and that's what they say happens. Like, it doesn't start off in the beginning of your marriage like, oh, we gonna swing and everybody's gonna be good. It kind of comes later on like, I really like you, but I don't know if I really want to do just you for the rest of life and forever and ever.
FYI, I don't have that type of attitude. I want one person.
Yeah.
If you want a string of people, you go ahead and get that string. I just like one person.
I committed to my husband. I don't even.
But a lot
see
of times
other
we
people
do
like that.
Yeah.
A lot of times it isn't us. It's the men. And in some cases, it starts with a conversation.
Well, I was about to say, Monique says she asked her husband for an open marriage.
And who is it? Tiana Taylor. And he said he was embarrassed. Like, when they had their little thing, he was embarrassed. They had, he set up the rules of this is what's going to happen. And I finish off with my wife, but I'm not doing... So, that's just not for me. No judgment.
It's not for me either. And I know people in the lifestyle, but it's not for me. If a woman asks to do it, does it hit the man's ego to be like, well, dang, I'm not enough for her? Or, is it different from when a guy asks a woman versus a woman asks a man?
Okay, so we got a bunch of guys on the feed. So I need everybody to comment. If you're a guy, comment and tell me if a woman came to you and was like, hey, listen, I really love you and you are awesome, but I really want this open relationship. How would you feel about that? Like, would your ego be broken, or would you just be kind of like,
Or would you consider yourself the luckiest man on earth?
Yeah, yeah. Tell me what you would think about that. While you guys are commenting on that, we're going to move on to the next topic, honey.
Yes, speaking of
Monique and her open relationship, she was on... Don't shake your head yet.
I'm sorry, I can't hide how I feel.
She was on Steve Harvey about a week ago, and she was... He and her had a conversation about all of the tomfoolery.
I want to see the uncut version,
yeah, me too.
Because they did some great editing.
There was a conversation that they had. Do we have the clip? All right, take a listen to the first half of what they said.
Getting labeled as difficult.
Yes.
Why do you believe that happened, and do you see that changing, and why?
I got labeled as difficult. My husband and my husband is Sydney, who happens to be my manager. We got labeled as difficult because I said one word, and that was no. Now, I said no to some very powerful people. I said no to Oprah Winfrey. I said no to Tyler Perry. I said no to Lee Daniels. And I said no to Lionsgate. And the difficulty came in when people that look like me, like Oprah, Tyler, Lee Daniels, and I gotta put my brother Steve on the list. Y'all knew I was not wrong. Each one of you said to me, Monique, you're not wrong. And when I heard you go on the air and you said, my sister done burnt too many bridges and there's nothing I can do for her now. Steve, do you know how hurt I was?
But Simone, now let me give you this. Because you and I had this conversation, I thought you went about it wrong. See, I felt that you had done yourself a disservice by the way you chose to go about it.
Tell me how I went about it.
I was cool with you, with your deal with Netflix. I was cool with you. The two problems that we had Number one, the boycott of Netflix,
Yes.
we never gave people a point of action. Okay, if we're going to boycott, are we going to not get subscriptions? Are we going to turn it off? Or are we going to go down there and get signs? The second point, what was coming to me was, this problem that you had in Netflix is rich people problems. Because they looking at us going, you talking about you didn't get millions. Well, you got this, you ought to be cool.
But when you say, Mo, it's the way you want about it, and I want to explain that, and I thank you for saying that. Inequality is devastating, and it's extreme. And when people said, Monique, do you think calling a boycott was extreme? You damn right. But isn't inequality extreme? So we've got to get to a place where we're unafraid to say it out loud.
Okay.
What I would have loved, what I would have appreciated.
Monique. So, Steve Harvey basically tells Monique, hey, listen, girl, we don't want this for you, okay? You're being a problem. You done told these people to suck on your private parts.
Which was so disrespectful. Come on.
So disrespectful.
Come on, let's talk about it.
Even in your comedy. And listen, I understand you doing a comedy show and you're trying to be provocative and this, that, and the third. But there are certain people, especially in the black community, that we just respect. Auntie Oprah is one of them. You're not going to tell Auntie Oprah to put your mouth on my private parts. You're not going to.
But here's the thing. I think, and I don't think it's even about the people. She was disrespectful in how she went about things.
Absolutely. And that's what
And
Steve
what
told her.
what was asked of her was the norm. However, she felt like, I have an Oscar now, so this is how I'm going to do things. And I think that it was taken out of context when he started saying, you know, there are some things and people that you could have gone to and they could have helped you and showed you how to navigate, because she probably could have got more than what she got.
Absolutely.
But the thing about it is she went about it the wrong way. And then her husband came in there with that old professional thug attitude. And my thing is, I don't have anything against the professional thugs, but I'm going to need you to be a polished professional thug. Like, you can't come in here trying to thug on these people and then expect for them to respect you. So then you get mad when they throw that ace down on you.
Yeah.
Because basically they said, we don't have to be bothered. You got your little war. Now go on over there and sit in time
About
out.
your business,
You won't get another one.
You won't get another one.
You won't get, because then it just didn't stop. See, what she's not telling the whole story. It just didn't start with Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels. She did the same thing and cut up on the producer. He does a lot of movies.
Will Packer.
Will Packer just bowed out gracefully and just no comment.
He did.
So you can't, then you're going to get up and tell, just basically, and she's always been raunchy. But you get up and tell these people to suck on your private parts because you didn't get your way, you don't need to work.
Yeah,
Well- No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that, you know, it even started when she didn't even want to promote a movie that she was in unless people paid her. And she talking about it's not about the money. Yes, it is about the money. You know, if you want this money for whatever, there's certain things in your contract which your thug husband manager should have read all in your contract.
And she should
But
have
here's
a
the thing.
PR
No.
team.
So here's
Yeah,
the thing.
there's
So here's the
promotional
thing.
things you have to do for free.
She fulfilled the contract.
Yeah, she did. The obligations
She
of it.
fulfilled the obligation.
But going
of the
internationally
contract.
wasn't included.
Wasn't included in the contract. And so that's when she was like, you ought to pay me. And other people were like, that's not how this works. You're not paid for this. I think the problem that the problem that occurred here is Monique has a right. That's true. That too. But Monique has a right to say, hey, listen, I can't afford to do that international stuff, and I'm not going to do that. But the fact that you kept on and on and on and pushing and trying to make folks feel bad for the fact that they've asked you to do something, you said no, because you can say no and be respectful and say, hey, listen,
Exactly.
I can't do that. I can't fulfill that. I can't make that travel arrangement.
No, but let's go further. I can't afford it.
I can't afford it. And she could have just said that, left it there and declined and been done. But what she chose to do was say, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And she's, quote unquote, calling people out and saying how awful and horrible and terrible people are.
Disrespectful to Auntie
and was
Whoopi,
disrespectful
Yes,
to all manner
very.
of people, especially people who have been known in the black community to help and to undergird and to push folks forward.
Yeah.
And now she's mad because everybody is like, we don't fool with you. Now, there was a point that I was going to make, because she said, all of you told me privately that I wasn't wrong. And the fact of the matter is, they probably did say to her, trying to help her understand.
Well, no,
Wait, hold on.
Whoopi said that.
They tried to make her, they probably tried to help her understand, girl, you're not wrong. But
this is how it's done.
here's how we
you
do
do it.
this. Here's how we change the narrative.
And Whoopi has an ego. Isn't it ego?
EGOT.
She has the EGOT, and she tried to guide her.
Yeah, she and she
For
didn't
free.
have to for the
Exactly.
free. She did, and I think the struggle, and even Steve Harvey, and she still wasn't listening. I think Whoopi's problem, I mean not Whoopi, Monique's problem is that she's only listening to herself. She's
And her
not listening,
husband.
and her husband. She's not listening to wise counsel. She's not, because Steve was like, even like, hey girl, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help you, and I'm telling you, you're not wrong, but you still went about this the wrong way.
And she's still going about it
And
the
she,
wrong
But
way.
here's
and
the
then
thing.
and then after she got off the Steve Harvey show, she continued
Still,
to talk
yeah.
smack about somebody who was clearly trying to do nothing
But he said
help
to her on his radio show the next day after it aired, he said, if I had to do it all over again, what I do own is the fact that I didn't reach out to her earlier. He said, but me having all these jobs, trying to take care of my
That
own
man got
family,
27 jobs.
you know, he said, I saw other people that reached out to her, and what her response was, and I kind of felt like, what is it? What can I say? And I think that there's a level of respect, and this is there are just certain unspokens within cultures. You know, when you're black and brown, you kind of stick together. This is how it's supposed to go. That's just not in the entertainment field. You see it in business all the time, where people will show you the direction or guide you in the way that you're to go. However, you can't just think that you're going to come on the scene and change the game. It doesn't work like that.
No.
And like he said, I clearly understood what he was saying. It's a money game. It's a money game. So if you're not listening to your Whoopi Goldbergs, and I really challenge her a little bit on that whole Tyler Perry thing, because you've heard people say, whether it was Keisha Knight Pulliam or all of these other actors and actresses that were coming back on the scene, they've talked about how he's flown them out or he did whatever. And that's why I was saying, had she said, I just can't afford it right now,
Tyler or Oprah probably would have put her on the jet.
Exactly.
Tyler called me. You can put me on the jet. I'm not gonna
Listen,
complain. I can't
I was about
afford
to
it.
say,
her.
Put me on the jet.
He bought Tiffany Haddish a Tesla
Yeah.
just because she's like, I really want one. I'm saving up for one, and he bought her one.
He said
is
that
a
he
generous
wanted her
man.
to get out of that. He said he could remember what it felt like to get that first big check, but be scared to go broke.
Yes.
So he bought it for her just to show her that, hey, you in this tax bracket anyway, you're going to need this. However, it's nothing wrong with buying and doing good things for
Absolutely.
yourself.
Absolutely.
So I think she tried to, and I've seen people talking about how, Steve Harvey is a coon and all this
Nope.
other stuff.
These are-
And when she
no,
was
no,
like,
those are facts. He is
where
cool.
is the integrity of it? My thing is, you can have integrity and make money at the same time.
You
You
sure
have
can.
to choose one of those.
You
I'm
sure
like,
can.
I just think that man is trying to make his money because guess what? He's been homeless. He's slept in his car, and he's like, I'm
has.
not going back there. So it
Listen.
is about his money.
And he
used to-
talked about the
he used to
struggle.
work at corporate America. He worked for Ford. Let me
Sold
tell you something.
insurance,
Yeah,
door to
sold
door.
insurance door to door. Now, once you have worked for one of these auto industry, it'll sure make you go out
Let
there and
me
make
tell
your
you
own
something.
money.
Make a woman or a man out of it.
Yes,
I used to be a line supervisor down at that truck and bus in Flint. Let
Yeah.
me tell you something.
Yeah, it'll change your life. It will change.
It will make you get focused real fast. No
Yes.
harm, no harm, no foul. Shout out to everybody in Flint working in the
Yeah.
factory. But when I got them long hours and inhaling them fumes, wasn't built for it.
I wasn't built for that.
I was built Flint tough, but not Ford tough.
Listen, and Steve Harvey is not trying to go back, and
He's
I don't blame him. But
And
clearly,
he's trying to keep his wife, who spends a lot of money.
She does spend a
'cause
lot of money.
constantly talks
But he
about
talks
that.
These
about the
fashions-
fact that in those earlier
these fashions are
years, the
expensive.
grind of, and he
Yeah.
talked about, quote, and he said it, neglecting his family.
Yeah.
You know, getting out there and not having anything, wasn't there to raise his kids, living out of his car,
Yep.
going, you
Traveling,
know, sharing
on
insurance.
tour. Mhm.
Yeah, doing all kinds of stuff.
That's why he
Who
been
wants to
through
go
2
back to that?
divorces.
He ain't trying to go back to that because
Nope.
you want to run your mouth.
Yep.
Go ahead, talk.
And my thing is, Monique is not like, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely positively believe that your talent makes room for you. But you
Absolutely.
also, so does your attitude.
Yeah.
Bridle your tongue.
But you got to bridle your tongue. Your attitude is absolutely going to take you places.
It will make you or break
It'll
you.
make you and break you.
Her
Yes.
argument was justified.
Absolutely.
Her presentation wasn't. Because
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that we didn't hear what she said
Mm-hmm.
and what she was saying. She was right. But
Yeah.
like he said, with that whole Netflix boycott, we were boycotting them like, what were we doing? It just appeared as
I
though
was
she
not.
had an attitude with them because of whatever with Amy
Because you got
Schumer.
rich people problems.
And then-
Listen,
and
I want
then-
Netflix to offer me $500,000. Netflix, you offer me $250 right now, and I'll come do
But she hadn't
all
done
your
anything
movies.
since Precious.
She
Right,
hasn't done
right.
anything
How can you
since-
ask for those
except
type of
for
dollars?
complain and do whatever and let her husband talk her into whatever situation
She need a
that
new
they
PR
have.
team.
She
But
needs a new
she
manager.
don't trust
That too.
nobody.
Mm-hmm.
She won't listen
only
to
wants
anybody
Sydney.
except him. She won't do it.
That's where you
and
go
that's
wrong.
where her issue is that she needs to become a little bit more humble
Absolutely.
and get yourself out there, and you have to make friends. You can't be going out there making enemies with everybody and think somebody gonna give you a job.
Yeah.
And
You can't make your own movies, because that's what you're gonna have to do, Monique.
And the
Make your
moral
own.
of the story in this is, because here's the problem. Monique is just an example of a bigger issue. It's some of you all out there. It's some of y'all out there who your mouth is writing checks that your behind can't cash.
Yeah.
You need
And
to
you-
join the ministry of hush. If you join the ministry
Come
of
on,
hush,
Hush Ministry.
it'll help your whole life. It'll help you get a man or a woman. It'll help you get a job
Come
or
on
a
now.
promotion. That spirit of
Yeah.
hush doesn't mean run over. It means, is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Come on,
It's like,
you better
pick
preach
your
a word.
battles.
Listen,
Pick your
because I
battles.
used to be over there in the wilderness. And to let you know how I feel. But
Yeah.
I learned. I had to learn some hard lessons.
Yes.
And once I got into this glory of hush,
It'll-
changed my whole life.
It'll change your whole
Yes.
life. On that, we're going to let you marinate on that, and we are going to take a quick commercial break. We will be right back with more of The Curve. Hey guys, we're back with more of the Curve. Listen, we have been checking these social media comments, honey, and y'all are on fire on the social media. Monica, was it Monica who said that who was talking about the Monique comment and saying that she actually worked on Monique. D Hill, who worked on Monique's show, and said yes, indeed, she got fired because of that attitude and that sass mouth, as my grandmama used to call it, that sass mouth, and that's exactly why she got fired. That's exactly why
they worked on her show.
Listen, because D Hill worked on her show. Thank you so much for that comment, D. Lindsay, hey girl, hey. When we were talking earlier about relationships, Lindsay said she stepped away from a toxic marriage because she was being cheated on, and bluntly told that I wouldn't have to do that if I felt you made me feel better about myself. Child, ain't nobody listen.
You should have snatched his soul about his body. Just inbox. I help you.
Listen, girl.
I help
say
you.
that's not your job to make him happy.
He should feel good about himself.
Exactly.
Yes, you are absolutely right.
Let me tell you something.
Lindsay said relationships become more of a hunt and a conquest because these people that feel inadequate with themselves gain a temporary high when strangers or new people seem attracted to them. And that is really it.
And you can smell it on them. You can smell it on them.
You can
smell the vibe change,
They
the energy
thirsty.
change.
You can smell the thirst.
My thing is, who been over there ruffling your feathers? Who
Yes.
been over there and you got to look them straight in the eye. Who been over there ruffling your feathers? Because somebody in their spirit is up in between us. Somebody. So
Someone is amongst us.
Yes, there's a thief amongst us. I don't know who it is.
Who about to get shot?
Melissa went to church yesterday.
Because I had to look them in the face. And I hope they watch it. Something ain't right. There's a thief amongst us.
Yes.
We see you.
Girl. Hush. Let me go on back to this hush ministry. Okay. Because that was the moment of sisterhood right there. Y'all knew exactly where I was coming from.
I did. So what we're going to do now, it is time, y'all, for Melissa's Moments in Sisterhood.
Okay.
Hold on. He got to, go ahead.
Thank you. So speaking of moments of sisterhood, recent research was found in Essence magazine. The University of Oxford found that women should go out at least 2 nights a week with their girlfriends.
Nice.
And
research, y'all. Science said it. Science said it.
And the science says that when you have great laughs, great drinks, great conversations with your friends and your family, that your sister girlfriends, it really helps you live longer. It produces more oxytocin and serotonin. That means kid-free. That means you're not over there texting, because I got some friends that will text their kids. I don't want you talking to your kids.
No.
If I'm kid-free, I want you to be kid-free. So ladies, do you think that this is realistic?
Absolutely.
Not. Because we're all busy people. And I mean, I can't even say I necessarily have a job, but people have jobs, stay-at-home moms have children all day, husbands got jobs, and they come home and get the kid. It's just, and first of all, Atlanta's too big to do all that. Because I live at least 50 miles from all my girlfriends. I have one out in Lawrenceville. One used to be out in Cumming. Thank God she moved to Powder Springs, which is a little closer to me, but still 30 minutes away, people. And one is preparing to get married. It's like so much going on in everyone's lives that we can't even get together. We get together like once a month. I can't see 2 days a week.
Here's why. I think you're absolutely right about the current state of what we're doing. But I think that's the problem. So I am a mom who firmly believes that we do too much putting kids first. This is a phenomenon, and literally, this is a phenomenon that only happens in the United States.
Yes, it does.
Because we don't do this in Europe, and we definitely ain't doing it in China. Like, this is not, this is a phenomenon that happens here in the States where we make our children like gods. We put them on these pedestals. We got to have them involved in everything. We got to make sure we're at every game. We got to make sure we're at everything. And we don't take time for ourselves because we are worried about these children.
That's why we lead in all of these health disorders, heart disease, hypertension, because you're worried about everybody else but yourself.
Everybody but you.
So let me help y'all out. I'm going to help you to get a good snapshot with your girlfriends and good laughs. Every morning, every single morning, in between 8 and 9 o'clock, I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone with one of my sister friends, and we're having good conversation. Once I drop that kid off, we start talking. And that is good belly laugh, because it doesn't necessarily, the research is saying you just have to have that time. The time to have unadulterated, great laughs and fun with your girlfriends. You know, to talk about, and one of the people that I talk to, she's a stay-at-home mom. But that's our time to talk. As soon as, sometimes I call her, the kids are getting out in the valet line, and she's like, hold on, don't hang up. Because she already know what I'm getting ready to talk about.
But
we getting ready to engage in some pure foolishness.
Still have one at home? Because I still have one at home all day.
I have another one that has one at home. She has one in kindergarten and one that's 2. And at noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we talk for 1 hour.
I think the struggle comes in when we do not specifically take time for ourselves daily on those daily basis. The other thing I think is, which is wrong with people, is we won't let people come to our house no more. We think we always got to go out.
You already know how I feel about that.
Yeah, we do. You need, listen.
Me and my husband was just talking about
my house
that.
Be open.
It's like, bring you and your kids. The kids will go in the room, and we could eat and have a good time, because we're like, that's probably the only way a lot of us, our friends who have kids, can get out and have a good time. Is come on over.
Come to the house.
Bucket, put the kids in the room. We got a whole room dedicated to toys.
That's another segment. I'll come to your house.
Yeah.
But I don't invite people.
The Casa de Dunkin' be open.
Listen, and you know we'll come over.
Yeah, we listen.
We'll come morning or at night.
That's true. Listen, and I always keep that. It's not always going to be food there, but it's always going to be coffee, wine, and beer. You
can always order in food.
We can always
order in food. And our house is open too, but everybody like, oh, girl, you live all the way out in Alabama.
But here's this week's assignment.
You can spend the night. We have another room.
Take time for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Try it. 1 week. We're going to talk about it. We're going to follow up.
I take Saturdays off. Believe it or not.
But what do you do with them?
Because I feel like kids stuff.
Because I feel like you take Saturday off and go do stuff with the kids.
No. Because I've taken them out of every extracurricular activity that they do. Because guess what? My children are very opinionated, and it's like, I don't want to go to gymnastics today. I pay for that. I'm gonna need you to go. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of it. So I've taken them out of gymnastics. I've taken them out of karate. I've taken them out of whatever else crap they were in, and they are 6 and 4. So I'm like, yeah, I'm done. And I take off Saturdays, and I do have to leave the house. If I don't leave the house, then it's like, I try and go to like a movie, or one of those Saturdays will be with my girlfriends, and then I try and get out and do stuff, but sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna just lock myself in my office. Okay. And I will close the door, and I'm like, maybe they don't think I'm here. Just hoping that they don't know.
So you see them fingers underneath the door.
Well, now I put the gate back up. They can't even get to the door. I have a gate because they're not allowed in my office anymore.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm building boundaries.
That's a start.
But yeah, it's that girl is home all day, and because her brother's not home with her, she's constantly, mommy, 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 look at me,
that's
mommy.
That's your challenge this week, Tony.
And I'm like,
that's your challenge. That's your homework.
We're going to talk about it next week.
We're going to talk about it. Tony needs time. So if you're one of Tony's girlfriends, your job this week is to call Tony and get her out of that element. Take her to lunch.
I talk to my mama almost
Nope,
every day.
nope,
your
that doesn't count.
Not your mother.
Not your mama and not your
mama's
sister
one of my
either.
friends.
No.
See, that's the problem right there.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
don't
it.
have a lot of girls. My
Yes, you
circle
do.
is closed.
These are
Okay,
lies.
that-
I know
that-
you
no.
got girlfriends.
Yeah.
No.
If you're one of Tony's girlfriends, your job this week is to help her get out of all of that.
Well, they all have jobs. and
Nope.
stuff. Okay.
Nope.
No.
Not a reason.
They-
So we
Well, I expect calls from y'all then.
absolutely we'll do
All
it.
right. Y'all better call me.
Absolutely. So last but not least, of course, you guys know we have our segment where we like to toast to someone wonderful doing wonderful things in the plus size community or as a woman or beyond. And today's toast to you is happening now. This is a toast to you. All right, so for those of you who do not know, I kind of love fashion. I grew up as a tomboy. And so now that I'm older and like a full-fledged girl, I adore fashion, and New York Fashion Week is one of those things like I always want to do. I got a chance to go walk in New York Fashion Week last New York Fashion Week. The one that happened in the summer, I got a chance to go walk. So now I'm literally obsessed with the shows and the designers and all that stuff. Well, what you won't find on at New York Fashion Week is a lot of plus size women and a lot of diversity. There are some that is changing slowly but surely, step by step.
They let Lil' Kim on there.
They did let Lil' Kim, but she don't count. She
don't count as plus size. Did you see what I saw?
no.
Kim is
For
plus
her
size
height?
now?
Yeah,
Pull it up, we can vote. Go ahead. Pull it up, we can vote. Go ahead.
Well, so I don't know. We're gonna check that out. However, there's a wonderful new luxury e-commerce site called 11 Honore. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Honore. Who is an inclusive brand. They opened up New York Fashion Week profiling women sizes 10 all the way up to, I believe it was a size 22 on the runway. They closed out the show with TV personality Laverne Cox, who was serving and giving looks, who of course now we are considering. I love Laverne Cox, who is now is considered a plus size woman. So she gave us twirls and sachets for the gods and for life. She did a fantastic job closing out the show. But I want to toast 11 Honore for just being inclusive. They want to bring luxury to women of all shapes and sizes. And so I just wanted to give them a shout out for doing a fantastic job and having a wonderful line at New York Fashion Week. So shout out to you, toast to you. We don't have our wine tonight, but you know.
We have cheesecake.
Listen, we got this cake just for you. Thanks
go
so
home
much.
Check my sugar.
Yeah, really I do. Really. No,
This is
listen.
not that sweet though.
But
It's not.
these are lies.
Yeah, no. I done got sleepy that fast.
All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for our show. What an amazing show we had.
Awesome.
Awesome show as always. It's always wonderful being around this table with my girls. This is actually part of my time where I get to come and hang out and chill.
too.
And this don't count for your time.
How does this not count for me?
No.
This is because I go out 2 other times in the week. However,
You just
we
overdo it.
No.
maybe.
We need to bring her into the life.
Yeah, bring back in. But we are so excited that you joined us. Please, of course, make sure that you are following us on Facebook and Instagram at On The Curve. And also make sure, On The Curve with a K. And then make sure that you go to our YouTube channel and make sure you hit the subscribe button. Please like and share this broadcast and make sure that others are watching. If you found something interesting or something you want to share, please make sure you tag a friend, share with a friend. We are excited about everything that's going on here at The Curve, and we want to make sure we're sharing it with you. As always, I want to wish you guys love and light, peace and joy, and make sure you keep living life on the curve. We'll see you next week.
Good night.